We are back.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Show number 26 of the Drum Brigade podcast. Man. I mean, yeah, we're here. We're back in action. It's just the ball is rolling. I'm Corey Kingston Horn, sitting across from me, turning knobs. Freaking, we're rattled today, dude. Can't get this show going. We're late. Just trying to make a great show. He's sitting across from me. He's trying to put transitions together. He's sucking down some coffee. He's fantastic. He's fundamentally sound. He's from Philadelphia, but lives in San Diego. He's fantastic. Funky Phil Pardell. What's up, Funky Phil?
Oh, the usual,
Man, what's with us today?
We're awesome.
That's right. Yeah. Man, you got a great radio voice today.
You got a great radio voice.
We're sitting here in the Beat Locker in beautiful San Diego. It is not raining. The sun is shining. We got a great show in store for you guys today. We got a great guest on today. Mike Dawson from Modern Drummer from the Mike and Mike podcast. So we got a lot to talk about with him. It's going to be a great show. Before we get started, Funky Phil, let me tell you about the Drum Brigade. All right?
Yeah.
All right. You can listen to this show on all the different platforms. All right? So that means you can get this show on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, TuneIn, Drum Brigade, YouTube, and Spotify. You can get them on all those. You can download them. It's all that jazz. Funky Phil, did you know that we're having a contest right now?
Yes, and I've got important news about that.
Oh boy, what's your important news?
Well, I'm on the wire with Haram drumsticks and accessories right now.
Yes.
And they are going to be giving us a stick bag, a t-shirt, and half a brick of sticks.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That deserves a lot of...
Yeah.
Really? All of that for our show?
For our super awesome giveaway.
For our listeners.
Doing. Yeah.
So not for me and you.
No, unfortunately not for us, but...
Oh. That's cool. You guys deserve it if you do something for us. So listen, we got a bunch of companies like the great Haram, the best company in the world.
Yes.
Now. No. Those are our buddies. Me and Funky Phil use Haram drumsticks and Drum Brigade drumsticks, but we also use Haram drumsticks because Harams are dope.
They are great.
I'm not joking, actually. I do use Haram. They're funkies, dude, bro.
Those are some good
Those
sticks.
Are some good sticks,
right?
Man. So we got a bunch of companies coming on board. So far, we got Drum Brigade giving you guys a care package with drumsticks, t-shirt, sticks, stickers. I said sticks twice.
It's cool.
And a date with Phil's dog. And then we got Haram coming on with stick bag, t-shirt, half a brick of sticks, dude. That'll get you through the year.
That's what's up.
That's crazy.
And they last. Those
sticks, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They last. Holy moly. We're getting you set up. We got some other companies that we're working with, like True Tones. We haven't gotten a definite care package from them, but at least you're going to get some drum dampeners.
Yeah. We're doing booty shakers too.
We got a package from Booty Shakers, which would just be the floor tom feet. We're working with other stuff. Just give us a minute to do it, people. Gosh. Just let us work on this for you. Okay? And in the meantime, you guys can work on something for us, please. All you got to do is give us a review. That's it. Just give us a review. Listen to our show. Go on iTunes. Hit 5 stars. Right, Phil?
Yes.
4 if you're like, it's a good show, but Corey complains a lot. Okay, 4 is cool, but don't do like 3 or 1 or 2. That's not even cool. Just give us a review. I mean, give us a like 5-star rating or 4-star rating, and then be like, man, this show's dope. I really love blank. I really love blank. Okay? And then submit that mug. You'll be in the running to win something dope. We just told you about Haram, Drum Brigade, other companies coming on board. It's going to be incredible. Prizes for you, all for you, helping us. All we're trying to do is grow our show with the help of some really dope companies that we endorse and we use. And we really appreciate it. Thank you guys. Haram, thank you. We can't thank you enough. And our listeners are going to thank you because they're going to be getting a dope care package. All right, Drum Brigade. Again, I mentioned the platforms you can listen to this on. And then also Drum Brigade. Everybody asked me what Drum Brigade is. Kind of hard. It isn't that hard to explain if you know what it is. Like if you're part of the brigade, then you know what's up. You're part of the Brotherhood of Drums. That's all it is. All right. So Drum Brigade is a community. It's a family. It's a place for drummers, drum enthusiasts, future drummers, and people who are just plain into music and culture to be among like-minded individuals. Drum Brigade is a way to support each other as fellow drummers, but also a means to push each other to excel and expand horizons in a spirit of camaraderie rather than negative competition. Drum Brigade has products. We have t-shirts, sticks, stickers, as well as some educational tools, lessons, video lessons, sheet music, private lessons. We also host community events like sheds, concerts. Like we did a cool event last year at NAMM, not this year, but last year, and it was dope. So like I said, Drum Brigade is the Brotherhood of Drums. Funky Phil, are you part of the Brotherhood?
You know it.
Also, Funky Phil and I both have individual websites. Funky Phil's website is philpardell.com.
Yes.
And my website is coreykingston.com. On those said websites, we have our own individual YouTube pages. Funky Phil has lessons and sheet music and play-alongs and stuff. I have a vlog that I do that's like a tour vlog. It's called A Day in the Life of a Drummer. If you're interested in watching those, just hit the subscribe button on either of our YouTube pages, and definitely hit the subscribe button on the Drum Brigade YouTube page, because we have this show, a podcast on audio only. We have our web show, first season of this podcast, and we have a web show that we're working on. It's coming up soon. Just was able to view the new intro, and it's looking dope. The first draft, stoked on that. We have lessons, we have product reviews, we have all kinds of stuff on our YouTube page. Hit subscribe, people, help us out. And who knows, you can possibly win something if you give us a good review. Tell your friends. All right, Funky Phil, let's get into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Much calmer this week, Funky Phil. Calmed down since this NAMM thing. Yeah?
Yeah.
Let me talk about Greg Bissonette, though. Just kidding. Dude, I was on one last week from NAMM, dude. I was on one.
You're feeling feisty.
Rare form, dude. I had all kinds of soapboxes, one after the next. I got on like a serious soapbox about NAMM. Like, let me tell you the problem of NAMM. Like, who am I?
You're Corey Kingston Horn.
I have an opinion, but I mean, it's not like Joe Name is gonna like listen to my podcast and be like, he's right. Let's have it in San Diego. Parking does suck.
That would be rad, though.
Oh man, you know what the thing is that's funny about that is, even though like it's not that far. Like I know the dude. I used to teach the dude, Mr. Lamond, from the CEO of NAMM. Like I used to teach his son. It's not that far. I have his number. I can just be like, yo, bro, let's make some changes to this thing.
You should call him. You should call him and tell him.
Mr. Lamond, what's up, bro? I have some changes for your show.
So you actually do know Joe Name.
I guess so. I mean, never underestimate the little guys. You know what I'm saying? No, but I mean, yeah, the NAMM, like, the Museum of Music and the NAMM headquarters is right here in Carlsbad.
That place is rad.
It is pretty dope. And they are, I got to give NAMM credit, man. Like, not to get on another soapbox, but they are doing something that is really cool for all of us musicians, right?
Yeah.
I have my very strong opinions, but most of those opinions are geared toward, or like, yeah, they're toward the music industry, specifically our drum industry. But it is cool that there's an event that we can go to that's like no other event I've ever been to. It's pretty dope. Anyways, Funky Phil, how was your week?
It was good. Yeah. I had some interesting gig moments.
Oh, really? Do I need to hit the soapbox button?
No, I don't think so.
All right, good.
It was fine. I mean, so I had that clapper.
Oh, yeah.
That little clapper thing, and I brought that to a gig. And it just wasn't happening. I don't know if it... well, what it really came down to is that this place I was playing at doesn't have a hi-hat clutch with their house kit. And I usually remember to bring mine, but this time I somehow forgot my hi-hat clutch. And this is that one where they go for 3.5 hours without stopping.
Dude, no.
That's a long time to not have a hi-hat clutch.
Oh, my gosh.
What I ended up taking apart, I have like one of those Roland bar triggers. I disassembled its mounting mechanism.
That's how you did it.
I put that under the top cymbal with the felt, and then I put the cymbal on, and then I have another felt, and then a cowbell on top.
Dang, MacGyver.
Yeah, and it worked all night, dude. I was like, this is going to fall apart for sure.
Dude,
I'm going to be
talk about making something out of nothing.
And it worked all night. It was good, crisp. Like, my hat worked like as if I had a clutch, but I also had the bonus of a cowbell right on top.
Now that I think about that, yeah, dude, that's...
So that was cool.
You're a MacGyver.
So that worked. And then my other one was that I was going to play in Carlsbad yesterday, and it rained.
Of course. I'm getting sick of this,
all my
Phil.
stuff got wet. We played 3 songs and then packed everything up.
Your vessel drums?
Yeah.
Got wet?
Yeah, well, I dried. I checked the weather beforehand. I brought towels.
Yeah.
So I dried everything off, bagged them up, got them out, and then I had to take them out of their bags at home all night. Let them dry out overnight.
Okay, so I have a move for that because sometimes, we live here close to the beach. Sometimes you're playing like on the water, you're in the harbor or something, and then at night the fog rolls in.
Oh, yeah.
I've had like my cymbals are like just full of dew, like my drum, and I'm like, I don't want rusty Masters of Maple, dude.
No.
So I have a towel in my hardware bag that is in there at all times. And like, for example, on my gig, so I had a double header on Saturday. I had a morning gig, kind of a funny gig, dude. We were like playing for a housing community, like a housing track grand opening. So it was like new model homes. It was like kind of like a corporate hit, but like it was like for a new housing tract. And they had people coming in and out and walking around and checking out houses and eating stone-fired pizza. And it was dope.
That's rad.
It was dope. But it was raining. So they put us in a garage. So I was literally playing in a garage. Like,
what?
It felt like my first gig ever. We were like literally in a garage. We were making all kinds of jokes like, hey, man, it's like I'm stoked that we have this gig. But we got to be quiet because my mom's going to get mad. She's upstairs. So anyways, but it was super dusty because these are new houses. So like after the gig, I had to like wipe down my drums.
Okay.
And then my second gig that night was at a casino, which I have a soapbox about. I will just tell you about the gig later on my soapbox.
Okay.
The gig was really dope though. I played my little baby drums.
Those odor-y ones?
Yeah, I need to get rid of those drums.
14-inch baby kick?
Yeah. It sounded really dope.
You should throw them into the giveaway.
I need to sell. Dude, the problem is I might as well just keep them because I can't really sell them for that much. Like the brand new, they're only like $400.
It's kind of an off-brand.
Yeah. So, but I need to sell those to get my Masters of Maple baby kick. And then I have a dope baby drum set.
What size? Are you going to get an 18?
I think I'm going to get an 18, but a really shallow 18, like an 18 by 12.
Ooh.
18 by, maybe 18 by 13. So I can be like that guy.
Cool.
Because Sahir's like telling me, dude, just get an 18 by 16. I'm like, no, I don't want that big. Or 18 by 14. I'm like, maybe. I'm like, I want a small little, I wanted like a 16-inch kick drum.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, don't get a 16.
Oh, man, I used to have, I loved my 16.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, if I get an 18, then I want a very shallow, like 18 by 12. He's like, that's going to sound like crap. And I'm like, I don't want to have two bass drums. Like if I play a casual, like a gig that has like, sometimes I play with the Schmucky Metal Band and I've gotten on soapboxes about how I have to move locations.
For cocktails. Yeah.
For cocktail hour. So I like having the little tiny 14-inch kick drum because I just throw it in my car as if it was a tom. And then I have a second kick drum that I can play cocktail hour with. Well, that's what I want. I don't want two giant bass drums in my car. I want a small little tiny bass drum that I can bring to my gigs and do that whole thing. So anyways, second gig was cool. I have a soapbox about it. I'll get on in a few minutes. Don't worry, Phil. I'll get on it in a few minutes. Other than that, I mean, I played my usual like residency gigs this week. It was dope. Man, I'm telling you, dude, having a residency gig is really dope. It helps with your playing, your chops. I've been playing this gig for about 3 or 4 months now, every week. And I feel like I'm a little bit more confident, like when it's time to solo and stuff.
Yeah.
That's really, really good. But dude, this is normally the slow season, obviously, for us. And it is still really slow, but that residency gig is saving my life right now.
Dude, yeah, that is. I wish I had that, man.
Dude.
I had so much fun that time I got to sub for you. Those guys are so cool, too.
They're super cool. They're like, so my residency gig is at a restaurant in San Diego with James and Marcel East. It's the Marcel East trio. Marcel East is Nathan East's nephew, and then James East is also a very famous bass player, and his brother is Nathan East. And so those are two of the nicest guys. Like, they're such a pleasure to work with, man. Like, that's all I could say. They're like dope players, dope musicians. People freaking love Marcel, dude.
Yeah.
Like, people love that dude.
He's got that charisma.
He knows what he's doing, dude. I don't know. Cause like a lot of the songs I don't know, I don't really listen to pop music. Like, I don't listen to what's popular, but his thing is like, he'll take pop music. He'll still put the voice effects on, but like a pop song, but then he'll do it like kind of like as a trio, like piano, bass, and drums. Yeah. And I use like a pretty jazzy setup. It's like a hybrid jazzy setup. So I use like my SPD-1 so I can still have claps and stuff. Yeah. And it's somehow people just love it. I think they're used to like having just like older guys like playing like Satin Doll all night maybe. I think that's what it is, because I can't really tell, because I'm like, well, what is it that we're doing that they love so much? But I'm not trying to fight it. I'm just like, I'm stoked that you guys like us. But
I feel like part of it has got to be the vibe. I mean, besides, you're all great players, and you have
thanks,
it's
Phil.
a really unique approach. But like, that was one of the things that really struck me, is that it's such a positive, fun atmosphere on stage that it's like infectious, and the audience feels it. I mean, it's like, everyone's actually having fun.
Yeah, I have to be really cautious and like aware that, you know, I mean, you guys know me now. Like, I get on soapboxes like off the show too. I have to like be really careful to not get on soapboxes like when I'm there, and just be like smiling and happy and like, you know, accommodating to people and complimentary, and, you know, like, I have to be really on it. That's most of the work. The work is not playing. The work is like when people tell you to be quiet, not getting mad about it and just being like, oh, okay, no problem. Yeah, sure, I can play quieter, you know? But those because those guys are really good at that. Like, they're really good at being accommodating, smiling, making people feel welcome, making people feel like happy to be there. It's really cool. Like, and then they go above and beyond with like the staff that works there. It's not just about tipping them at the end of the night. It's about like becoming friends with them. Like Marcel went like laser tag playing with some of the waitresses.
What?
Yeah. Like took his family, like took his wife, and then some of the staff at the restaurant. They're like, "Where were you at?" And I was like, "What do you mean? Like I thought I missed a gig or something." They're like, "We all went to play laser tag and you weren't there." And I was like, "Laser tag?
They
What
didn't
are you
even
talking
invite
about?"
you, did they?
I think it was on a Saturday or something, so I had a gig, but
Oh, okay.
I was like, see, that's what I'm saying. Like,
That's what's up.
I know none of the other old fools that play at that venue, they never go laser tag playing.
With the staff.
With the staff.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. There you go.
so-
if you want to build a good relationship with a venue,
It's all about laser tag, dude.
tag.
It's all, who knew? But it's stuff like that where like the chef will come out and like bring us food and stuff, and they're like, "Dude, chef never does that. He really likes you guys."
that's
And
awesome.
I'm just like, man, hey, let's just keep it going. Like, let's not mess this up. Like, let's just. And we also go above and beyond. Like, we try to dress nice. Like, we dress up, like bow ties.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Suit up.
We suit up, and it's like the next step would be tuxedos. Like, it's that hardcore.
I could see you guys doing that even.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have a tuxedo, but we don't hold back on that, and that I think that brings a vibe. So, anyways, yeah, it's cool. Anyways, my week was it was another week of music, man.
Life's good.
Did you get anything new besides a clapper?
No, I got a bag for my snare.
Oh,
my 15.
Because Drum Flip was having a party.
They were having a sale, yeah. I went in there and got it was made for a 14. It says on it like 14 by 5.5.
Oh, for your 15-inch snare.
But I fit a 15 by 7 in that bag.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely snug, but you know.
Hey, it works. I got a 10-inch rack tom in a 14-inch snare case.
Whoa.
So if he has an SKB 10-inch, I'm getting that mug.
I think he might. I think he had some 10-inch cases there.
Yeah, but it has to be SKB or else I'm
But
not
I
using
think the
it.
sale's over.
That's all right. It's how much could a 10-inch SKB case be?
I don't know, but he was giving everything away for $19.
Sometimes I'm like, what? Really?
Yeah, you could have got a bass drum case for $19.
Oh my gosh. Dude.
It's pretty rad.
I should probably get like an 18-inch.
I think he just like, because from like buying and selling and trading, like people a lot of times will bundle their cases with their kit.
Yeah.
And
then he separates them and sells them.
But he'll have like a huge stockpile. He'll have a whole room full of bags and cases eventually, and then he's like, well, time for a sale.
Jeez. That's crazy. I've seen him do that a couple times. Like sometimes though, dude, you come out, maybe I just don't go there enough, but you come out of there with like, you're cleaning up, dude. You got like an 80s or 90s clapper for $5.
Yep.
You got like a Roland kick drum thing for like, what was it? $40 or something? $20?
Something like that. Yeah, I got it.
I got mine for $60 and I thought that was a good deal. Wow, that's crazy. Well, I didn't get anything drum related this week.
What'd you get? A bicycle?
It has nothing to do with
backpack?
drumming. I wish. My backpack is like more than a snare, the one that I want to get. No, it's not more than a snare, but it's really expensive, the one that I got. Okay, so I'm doing this gig in a few weeks in Vegas. It's a nerd fest, dude.
Yeah.
It is a nerd fest. It's like super ska, dude.
Oh, one of those. That's awesome.
And it's like a scooter rally, a Vespa scooter rally. And yes, I do ride a Vespa, because I am super ska.
Well, those are like, somehow those are intertwined pretty hard, right?
Yes.
That is like a big part of the ska culture, right?
Yeah, if the real ska culture. Not
Why?
like if you're listening to like Real Big Fish and stuff, it has nothing to do with that. But I don't know, man. It has to do with like the mod culture, like in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
And like how it like somehow got intertwined with like England and UK like culture and all that stuff. So it's just, I don't know, man.
Those are like Italian, right?
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. It's just the thing.
Is there like a ska movement in Italy or?
No, it's, you know how like, did you ever see that movie Quadrophenia by the Who's movie?
I have not.
You should see it. It's good.
Yeah.
It's about the mods versus the rockers.
Okay.
So, and like the people who like listen to like soul music and listen to the Who and all that stuff, like they rode Vespas and they had like all kinds of mirrors on them and lights and stuff. They were the mods, and then the rockers listened to like rockabilly or something, like Elvis or something. I don't know. And they rode like cafe racers, and they didn't like each other and they would fight each other.
So this is kind of like real life.
No, this really happened. There was like a big fight that happened in the late 60s, I believe, and on Brighton Pier. And it was a huge brawl between the mods and the rockers.
Get out. Really?
Yeah. And so I think it just comes, it all has to do with that. Like, cause the mods like dressed in the little skinny suits and like, and then they were like Jamaica had a big influence on that. And that's how the whole two-tone ska thing came about. And the music was kind of similar, I think, cause it was like soulful and all that stuff. And then the styles were very similar. And then it was like the mods and the ska, like Rude Boys and Skinheads and all that stuff were like all together. And I'm not gonna give you the whole history of it. I can sit here and talk about that for hours. No, anyways, I think that's how that
more one of these episodes.
I think that's how the Vespas got introduced. Like the Vespas and Lambrettas, like the vintage scooters got introduced because of all that whole mod thing.
So it's like part of the style.
It's part of the style. Yeah. Yeah. It's like, I don't know why, but that's just what it is. So when I got into it, like in the late 90s, early 90s, mid to like, I got into ska in like probably like 93, 94.
You were like, you heard Real Big Fish.
No.
And you were just like, yes.
No. I got into it because my uncles, I was 12 years old when I got into it. So I've always listened to ska since I was like 5 years old from my uncles, but I didn't get into it until I was like 12. And my uncles always had Vespas and stuff. So I've been riding Vespas since I was a little kid, just cruising my uncle's little bikes and stuff. And then I got into it, and then I kind of got into it not knowing that it had anything to do with ska. Like I got into riding scooters because they're fun, and my uncles always had them, and they're rare and they're like vintage, and I'm just into that kind of stuff. And then I got into ska, and then I was like, oh, well, this stuff is okay. I get it. And then like when I was a kid, like if you had a Vespa on top of being like really into ska, like then you're like a really proper like dude, you know, like you're a proper rude boy or whatever, like a person that listens to ska.
Okay.
Or a person that's into that scene. So yeah, it's like if you're into country western and you actually have a bull and you ride up to the country western gig on a bull.
Really?
It's like, wow, this guy's legit, dude. Okay, so
I don't think people ride bulls like that though. I think maybe a horse would make more sense.
Okay, well, whatever. I mean,
bulls usually that's like how long can you stay on, right?
I guess. I don't know. I'm not a cowboy, Funky Phil.
I'm not a cowboy either.
Okay, like if you're a cowboy, you ride up on a horse and you're towing a bull. Dude, you're a real cowboy, dude. Okay. All right, it's the same things. Anyways, I'm playing this gig. I have this tribute to two-tone ska. We're playing this gig in Vegas. It's a scooter rally. There's probably going to be like hundreds, maybe thousands of vintage Vespas and Lambrettas. Woo. And I'm going to go. The gig isn't paying that much, but I'm going to make a vacation out of it. So I booked my hotel room. That I'm looking forward to. And then I got a free rally pack, so like I can be a part of the rally, the scooter rally. But I have to get my scooter up there.
Does that mean you race?
No. You just go on like a group ride. It's so much fun, Phil, dude. I'm telling you, it's so much fun. I'm gonna day in a life that trip. And I'm going to have a camera mounted on my on my helmet so you can see. It's so fun, dude.
That's cool.
Think about like 500 Vespa scooters riding around Vegas all together in one pack. It's nuts.
Sounds crazy.
Okay, so Friday night I'm playing in the band, and then Saturday night I'm doing the ride. Thursday night I'm going up. I'm going to do a little ride with however many people are there. Go to the Vegas sign, all that stuff. It's going to be super fun. I need to get my Vespa up there though. I don't know how I'm going to do that.
You can't just ride it all the way out there?
No, it's like slow, dude. Top speed's like 61 miles an hour.
Oof.
And it's vintage, dude. It's old. So
You'd break down.
I tried to fit it in my car. That was a mistake, Phil.
Really?
That was a mistake. I don't even have a ramp to get it in there.
How much does that weigh?
It's 240 pounds.
Oof.
And I put like one of those folding Walmart tables like as a ramp and then wheeled it in backwards. It didn't fit, Phil. Fell over sideways, got gas all over the back of my car.
Gas?
I'm doing this all by myself. My neighbors are all looking. I'm trying to do this inconspicuous so my neighbors don't see me. As soon as I start pushing this thing in, all my neighbors come home and they're like, what is this fool doing? Like, dude, there's a giant thing sticking out. I'm like, hey guys, don't worry about me. Gas in my car. Oh my gosh. So that was a big mistake.
So wait, is there gas still all over the back?
No, I had to like take the carpet thing out, literally hosed it down, scrubbed it with a brush, not knowing if this is going to work. Totally worked.
Wow.
And so I was like, I can't fit this in my car after I already attempted and spilt gas all over. And so I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I can't afford to rent a van. And so I decided to buy one of those trailer hitch things.
Okay.
Trailer hitch thing has been kind of a mess, dude.
Whoa.
Okay, so I have to get a hitch installed on my car, which I'm going to install by myself. But there's different classes. There's like class 1, which is like for a little baby or a little bike rack, that hangs off of a trailer hitch.
Yeah.
Doesn't take a lot of weight, but I'm trying to put like a motorcycle hitch on there.
Yeah.
Then there's class 2, which is like kind of the same thing, but you can put a little bit more weight. And then there's class 3 where you can tow like a trailer.
So which one are you getting, the 2?
The only one that they make for my car is a class 1.
Oof.
So I'm like, So I'm like, well, maybe I can get a class 2. They won't because my car is really small. So I'm like, but then they make adapters that you can put on that converts it. But they still have adapters that are like, this is a class 2 only. So that means the holes won't line up and all this. It's complicated, dude. So I've been researching. The reason why I haven't posted anything on Instagram about our show is because all of my time has been consumed with trying to figure out how to get this thing to work. Okay, so I figured it out. I bought a trailer hitch thing, a motorcycle carrier on Craigslist, off of Craigslist, $60, brand new.
Nice.
I'm stoked on it, but it's whether or not I can connect it to my car. That's the complicated part.
Just get some rope.
This may or may not work, but I think I found the solution. I think I found it.
You're going to strap it to your roof, right?
No. Like, I found the right. So then the trailer hitch thing, class 1, the thing that mounts to your car, you bolt it to your car. That thing, I was like, it's a class 1. Forget this thing. I'm just going to cancel it and buy like a universal class 2. Don't know where to find that, but I was just on a whim, get online with these guys and I say, hey, I need to cancel my order. Cancel that mug. Then I'm like, shoot. Then I'm looking on like different websites, found like a conversion that it works perfectly and it's a class 1 and class 2. It's the only one I've seen. I know this sounds like a different language, but it's the only one that I've seen and it worked. And then I had to call back to people and be like, hey, can I cancel my cancellation? And they're like, yeah, we'll like just reorder it for you. So
cancel your cancellation.
I know but I think if everything comes on time, I will be bringing my Vespa to Las Vegas. I'll be wearing Doc Martens and Fred Perry's, and we'll be playing two-tone music, two-tone ska, and I'll be riding around like a big, fat dork.
Well, let me know if you need help.
All right.
We could always just put it on your roof.
That might be what I do. If not that, I got to rent a van. I got a credit card, like a van. Whew. That's the only way. But another buddy is like, hey, I can take it in my truck. But now I'm all like knee deep in this mug. So I'm like, no, man, I'm taking it in my car. It's got to go in my car. Yeah, I got to do it like this. All right. So I haven't gotten on my soapbox. We have 6 minutes to do this soapbox, which I don't think I can do. We got to get Dawson on.
Yeah, let's just save it.
I'm going to have this soapbox with Dawson on.
Okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. we're going to transition into having a serious guest on. This guy has a podcast.
Yeah.
With a really famous drummer.
Mm-hmm.
Man. All right, let's get Mike Dawson on. Oh, yeah, Drum Brigade Podcast.
Drum Brigade.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Funky Phil, we got a special guest on the line.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. So, are you the editor of Modern Drummer or an editor at Modern Drummer?
An editor. Yeah, that's a tough one because when I cringe when someone says you're the editor of Modern Drummer. I'm like, eesh, no.
Okay, so an editor of Modern Drummer magazine, an incredible, great drummer, has some dope content always, every week, daily on Instagram. Co-host of the Modern Drummer podcast with Mike Johnston. On the line with us, Mike Dawson. Mike, what is going on, my friend? Oh my gosh. Finally came on.
It's been a minute. We've been flirting with this for a while. How long have you guys been doing this? A year?
Man, a couple years. We're only 26 episodes deep, though. Dude, we're working on it.
I'm still working on it myself.
a bi-monthly schedule?
Yeah, I guess, man. We started off slow. Like, our first season was like, we'd record an episode and then take like a month to post it. But
yeah,
we got it dialed now. We're pumping them out. So
it's harder than people think.
Man.
People think you just turn the mics on record and it's good to go. I mean, there's a few people that do that, but
yeah, I think when we started this, we thought it would be that easy, but
yeah,
man, it's hard. It's hard. So how's everything going with you, man? You're at Modern Drummer. We just had to call and get a secretary or somebody that runs the phones and was like, is he expecting your call? I'm like, oh boy. I thought I could just be like, yeah, it's Corey. And they're like, Corey, oh man.
No, I mean, obviously we have someone answer the phone, but I have a voice message. I was hoping you would get it that says, thanks for your call. If you'd like to reach me, please email me.
Oh man, that would have been great. That would have been
I just have a hard time with the phone. I mean, I like to talk to people, but inevitably it turns into a 45-minute conversation.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh man, I need to do my job actually.
Yeah, exactly. I'm
anyway,
kind of the same way.
This is going to be a 30-second interview.
Yeah,
right?
so thanks for coming on. We'll just chat with you later. No, that's cool. Like, I would have loved it if we would have gotten your voicemail and it would have just been like, yeah, if you want to get a hold of me, this is Mike, like you can email me. If you're Corey and Phil from the Drum Brigade podcast, go kick rocks. Click. That would have been great. Yeah. So you, okay. So let's let everybody know what you do. You said you're an editor at Modern Drummer magazine.
Yeah. Technically my title is managing editor, but we have a staff of 4 editors here, and essentially we kind of code manage the whole thing. I mean, it's just formality. Managing editor is supposed to be the person who kind of keeps the editorial flowing from freelance writers and amongst the editorial team, but it's really kind of we all do a little bit of everything. We have one editor who organizes all the features. I organize all the product stuff, and then we have another guy who organizes all the education stuff.
That's cool. You're lying though. You pick who's on. You pick the pictures that are on the front cover.
Well, if I write the story, I might have more influence over that.
You pick the JoJo Mayer front cover picture. Sorry, I don't mean to call out JoJo Mayer is one of my favorite drummers.
Who's on there? Is it Chambers on there right now?
Yeah, Dennis is on.
That's
finally
awesome.
We got him back on.
Man, that's so cool. This many years, still in the game, still getting covers of probably the biggest magazine in our scene, our industry. But
yeah,
he's
what
Dennis.
A story though. I mean, the dude almost died.
Yeah.
We were literally thinking, wow, it might be time to think about an in memoriam for Dennis Chambers. It was serious. So
I don't even want to hear that.
Yeah, but he's back and he's playing his tail off again.
And just as good as ever, right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
You know what's funny too is at NAMM I asked a bunch of drummers what their Mount Rushmore of drummers is, and almost everybody was like Dennis Chambers. First thing still, 2019, people are still going. Dennis Chambers is my Mount Rushmore, one of the faces on my Mount Rushmore of drummers. It's so dope.
I mean, for me, he's the coolest of all of those people you would put on that Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
Vinny would definitely go there.
Me too.
Weckl would probably go there.
Yeah.
Dennis would be the one that's like the coolest guy up there.
Yeah. That's the funny thing, man, is he's like maintained that.
Right.
He's maintained his image throughout the whole thing where, you know, like he's always been my like number one, like holy moly. But I met him a while ago, like a few years ago before he got sick. And I was just like, this dude's actually way cool, man. Like super cool.
Yeah. So supportive of the community. I mean, he's a rare breed, and he's no BS. That's a funny story about Dennis. I was at a pay sick in college, and one of my bass player buddy, big, 6'5" looking guy, kind of looks like Kobe Bryant, real kind of arrogant kind of a vibe. Mm-hmm. He walked up to Dennis and he's like, "Man, you're one of my favorite drummers, but what's up with those shoes, man?"
That sounds like something I would do.
Yeah, he was wearing like the white, like whatever they were back in the day. And Dennis just looks at him, but doesn't even bat an eye. He goes, I think they're comfortable, and I'll wear whatever the F I want.
Like, only Dennis can say that, too. You're like, sorry I asked, man.
And it just, like, cut my buddy down. I mean, he's 6'5", and he left there, like, at 310, maybe.
Dude, that is so dope. That is totally something I would do, though. Like, I would ask him some lame question and then feel stupid afterward. It's so funny, man. That's awesome. So aside from editing Modern Drummer magazine, like freelance writers, you also have a podcast with Mike Johnston, the Mike and Mike podcast, right?
Yeah, we are 179 weeks in at this point. I think we skipped 2 weeks out of the whole.
Are you serious? I thought we were pumping them out. Jeez. Man, seriously, that is super dope. That is like, people don't know how much work that actually is, man. It's crazy. And you guys got a well-oiled machine. It's just like, you guys like, at this point you got it dialed, right? You know the format, and you like.
Yeah. I mean, I've got, everything is like my audio software is at a template. All the limiters and compression is all set. So as long as neither one of us changes our microphones, we're all good.
Yeah, that's cool. That's really good. That's cool.
But it still takes like a whole day to kind of produce it, record it, mix it, publish it.
Right. Yeah, it's the same for us. Like we have to. We kind of have it dialed now. We're always making changes though. We're still at the early stages, but man, it's like all day tomorrow I'll be editing, and like Phil will mix it, and then posting it and publishing it and all that stuff is like, and then making like edits for social media and all that stuff. It's a ton of work, man. It's a ton of work, but it's cool.
But it's fun. I mean, every week Mike and I joke when we turn, because we do it all over Skype, and we both kind of look at each other like, why are we doing this? Like we need to do this? Like
I know. I go through that weekly. Like, I'm always telling Phil, like, dude, sooner or later, man, something's got to come of this, because, bro, like, this is a lot of work. So that's cool, man. Like, I don't know Mike Johnston very well. I met him a couple times, and like, obviously a dope dude. Like, I think he's probably the best, like the most well-known, most famous teacher there is now at this point, right?
Yeah, I mean, he kind of set the mold. I mean, he jumped on YouTube when it first was available, and he saw it as an opportunity rather than something kind of silly, which is kind of what we saw it as. Like, oh, that's cool. There's this website where you can watch videos. We never really said, okay, we need to invest in this system.
Yeah,
he saw it right away, and I mean, it just worked. I mean, I became aware of him when he switched to Vader, and they like sent me like an artist update, and I went to his website, checked it out. I was like, dang, this guy's legit. He's not a used car salesman or anything like that. Like, he's legit. So yeah, that was probably a decade ago at this point.
Yeah, he's straight killing it, man. All you guys are, though. Your show is killing it. Like, your posts on Instagram, like, you definitely have a thing. It's totally cool, like the cool like effects and triggers and stuff that you're using.
Yeah.
I'm always like entertained by what you're going to post next. It's dope, and it's different. It's unique.
Yeah.
It's cool.
That was my goal. I wanted it to be a creative outlet, not a chance for me to try to do what everybody else has done. Because I don't. It was literally, I need something to hold me accountable to make sure I'm actually practicing and developing and being creative. Well, Instagram gives me 1 minute video options. Okay, I'm going to do that every single day, and I'm not going to do anything that I've seen someone else do. I'm just going to improvise
Yeah.
Whatever the heck comes out is what goes on Instagram.
Man, that's cool.
awesome.
I need to do that, man. I think I need a studio though. I used to have one, but I don't like, I guess my creative thing is like my day in a life, like kind of tour vlog video, but I really enjoy doing those. But like, I wish I was looking at my Instagram the other day and I'm like, I don't have hardly any videos of me playing. I should post more of me playing. It's more just like,
should, dude.
It's just more silly faces.
You've got some stuff out there. People need to hear you, man.
I know.
I
don't know why. I just feel like, I don't know. Like I definitely need to do that more though. But like,
no more excuses.
No more excuses.
There.
Yeah.
Do it, man.
Stop faking the funk and post it. Who cares if it's bad
you
or
too,
not?
Phil.
Yeah, Funky Phil. So a lot of people don't know you and Funky Phil went to college together. So like, or you were in college together, right?
Yeah.
At one point. So
I was a grad student. Phil, what were you? A sophomore at the time, maybe?
Something like that.
Yeah,
Something like that. I just remember you being super rad and great at drums.
So Phil, when you were in school with Phil, like what was he? Was he just like pumping iron all every day, like just hooking up with chicks? Like, what was the deal with Funky Phil, dude?
No, man.
This is before he went to prison, right, Phil?
Well, the thing with that school is the grad students are kind of like separate from everything. It's its own little world. So my interaction with undergrads was very limited, but Phil was one of the few undergrad drummers that just seemed to always be in the music building, practicing and doing stuff and tuning drums. I mean,
that sounds about like what he's doing now, dude.
Yeah. So it was cool. Because that was like my undergrad experience. Like we never left the building, but at this school, for whatever reason, it was like the ghost town once it got 5 o'clock at night. It's like, where is all the drummers? Where's everybody at?
Yeah, it was weird.
Dude, I just picture Phil like, just like smoking weed, just like tuning drums for no reason, dude.
I did have a conversation. It wasn't with Phil. It was another undergrad about, because this dude was just ripping 24/7. I'm like, how can you like do college and be like that? He's like, well, if you're going to play high, you got to practice high, right? Like, all right.
Wow.
Whatever, awesome. Man.
That's funny. I was tripping out when Phil told me that. He's like, I know Mike Dawson, man. We went to college, like we were in school together. I'm like, what? Like crazy, dude. That's like, it's nuts. So okay. So Mike and Mike podcast, Modern Drummer thing, and then you're also Modern Drummer magazine editor, and you're also a professional drummer, of course, right? Yep. You do like you're doing a production or something like that right now.
Yeah, well, I have my studio at home is set up to where I basically just help friends and producers and songwriters that I know with demos, and I've done a few master recordings, but that's just been word of mouth. It's been cool.
Cool.
I teach a lot out of there. I teach a lot online just with Skype, which has been surprisingly effective.
Nice.
And then like a year ago, I started subbing for Carter McLean on Lion King on Broadway.
Wow, nice.
Which has been super cool. That's been such a blessing because it's such a demanding gig that I have to keep myself in shape. Like by the end of that show, I feel like physically exhausted if my chops aren't really sharp.
Really?
Yeah, it's been cool. I kind of feel like I'm like on call, like I'm an ENT. Like my chops need to be warm and ready to go because he might call me at like 7 and be like, dude, can you get to the theater like in a half hour?
Oh my gosh!
Dang.
It's only happened once or twice, but still, I'm like, I want to be the one that says, yeah, I can be there.
Do you live in Manhattan, or like how do you get anywhere in that city like in a half an hour?
Well, you know what's crazy? I'm probably 20 miles west, but the buses are so efficient. Like I can be in from the bus station to Port Authority in 35 minutes.
No way.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So that he literally called me one night. I think it might have been 6:30. Like my wife broke her hand or something, and he had to run home. Like, can you be here, as soon as possible? As soon as you get here, I'm going to leave. So I got there right at the end of the first song.
Wow.
So by 8:15, I was in the drum chair.
Wow.
Pretty nuts.
That's crazy.
That's nuts. So that's the kind of gig that is so out of my realm. Like I would be so scared to death.
Me too, dude. That's a lot of reading, right? A lot of sight reading.
Oh, it's 100% reading. I mean, I got to tell you, the first time I subbed for him, I don't know how often you guys get in fights, but that feeling of tunnel vision when you're like, all right, I'm going to like defend myself right now.
Yeah.
That where the whole world just kind of turns into a laser beam. That was like 3 hours of the show. Like, I thought I was in like a fight with Broadway for like 3 hours.
Dude. Oh my gosh. It's so taxing too, man.
That's kind of chilled. I mean, it's kind of mellowed out. But yeah, that first, I went home and just passed out. I was like, holy crap, how do people do this 8 times a week?
Yeah. And why is that gig so physically demanding? Is it just the intensity of playing, or is it like the intensity of sight reading the whole show, or like what is it that you're not on stage like acting it out like in a lion costume or something, right? Like playing
no, but there's a lot of big fight scenes where it's basically all drums and wailing on the toms and stuff.
Jeez.
But there's only maybe 5 minutes breaks in the show where it's just dialogue. So there's music playing pretty much the whole time.
My goodness.
But it's just kind of like the totality of it. Like there's a heavy song and another heavy song, and then you're pounding out some tribal stuff, and then you got to play these like African bell patterns, and
dang.
And then at the end of it, you got to like play this funky 6/8 thing. So it's just exhausting, but it's really just a very demanding drum book.
Yeah.
Not just musically, but it kind of is like the center of the whole pit. Like everyone relies on the drum chair to be solid. So for me, it's just like there's no chance to let up. you know, like you've got to be on it.
And there's no like room for improvisation, right? It's all you have to play what's written.
No, this is the crazy part with these books is whoever has the main chair, they kind of can reinterpret it a little bit.
Okay.
And then it becomes their book. So when I went in, what you have to do is you have to go sit in the pit for 5-6 times and just observe.
Oh, okay.
So I got a copy of the book, and I just made special notes like what's the vocal cue for when he goes here. But then I got a board mix of his headphone mix, so I could study his parts. I transcribed every single fill, every single groove.
Dude,
and
that's
like
so
none
intense.
of that stuff's notated.
Yeah.
My goal was to like show up to the show, and if no one saw me walk in, they wouldn't know that Carter wasn't in the booth.
Right.
That's awesome.
That's a next level. That's a next level thing, man. That's really
I certainly haven't achieved
dope.
it yet, but I'm getting to the point where I'm like, all right, the conductor's not giving me too many notes. All right, I'm getting better.
Yeah, man, that's so dope. Like my reading chops are just not at that level. Like that's why it's like so intimidating for me. And I also didn't go to college with you and Funky Phil, but like I have a big band gig that's like a sight reading or a chart gig. It's not a sight reading gig, but yeah, it's completely open for interpretation. I'm just like road mapping it all the way down until, to know the intros and the beginnings and the intros and the endings and like the rests or whatever horn. It's like mostly like just a trumpet chart that I'm reading. And,
yeah, but I mean, if you called me the sub, I wouldn't have that experience. I'd have to get a recording and transcribe all your stuff. It'd be similar. Like I don't think Carter goes to Lion King thinking I've got to play this the same way every time. He just plays it.
Oh, okay.
But I've got to go in and play it exactly like he played it.
Yeah. Well, that still is, man. That's I wouldn't be getting hired on that gig. That's another level for me, dude. That's actually what our listener question is about today. So we'll get to that in a minute. But man, that's impressive, dude. That's a next level thing. That's crazy.
It's been great to have that experience to kind of see what it takes to be at that level, and also it, like I said, it literally keeps me sharp. Like I don't go home on the weekend and think, all right, let's go party. It's really affected everything about the way I handle my day-to-day life. Just I had to play the show on Sunday. Well, then I probably shouldn't stay out till 4:00 Saturday night.
Yeah, totally.
Which has been good.
That's the thing about us too, man, is like as drummers, we get used to our gigs and how we do them and what we get hired for. And it's pretty rare when I get like, I have to be on my toes for something, but then when you accomplish it, it's like, you feel like you're on top of the world. It's really super dope. And, like if you're on a session or something and it starts like, I'm like, oh man, I better like practice before the session. I don't even know what to expect. I don't know if there's going to be charts. I don't know, and it's like, you feel good when you do accomplish it. And so you probably leave that gig like feeling like, dang, I'm doing it. Like I still got it,
Yeah. Well, I think it's probably the case with most of us artistic types. It's like my self-worth is kind of determined by my last performance.
Yeah.
So there definitely been nights when I'm like, damn, how did I miss that one? And at this point, it's like little stuff, like tempo's dragging a couple BPM, or I hit the microphone the other day. Like, I remember it. Like, I whacked the microphone instead of the cowbell. And that just bothers me to hell.
Man, that's so dope. That's so dope. Well, then, on that note, let's transition into our listener question. It's kind of on the same note. Let's do that right now.
Drum Brigade.
Dude, I'm impressed. I don't even know what to say to you now. I'm just kidding. No, it's cool. It's
Dude,
really
I'd
dope.
be so scared to do that.
Me too, man. Like, I feel that, like you said, like, you know, you're like the walls are closing in and it's like you're in a fight. I feel that feeling just by you telling me that.
Yeah, me too.
My stomach is like hurting, like, oh man, I can't do this gig and I live in California. Like, I'm like, how am I going to get to like Broadway in 30 minutes? Like, from California.
That's crazy.
It is so weird. It's super, super weird.
Man.
But, you know, the tunnel vision widens out each time. So now I'm actually paying attention to, that's happening on the stage right now.
Yeah. Man, that's so cool. All right. So this listener question comes from Wyatt Lund. He's given us some questions before, but he wrote us again. It says, I have a listener question for you guys if you're down. You guys have talked about subbing on gigs a few times. I do that quite a bit, and if there are no charts provided, which happens most of the time, I take the time to write my own. I don't mind doing it, and I kind of like it, but it's time consuming. My question is, what prep do you guys do for gigs where you are the sub? It's like the exact question that you were just talking about. That's crazy. And that was like complete coincidence. Like, we didn't really plan. I just planned to ask a listener question when you're on. So,
well, I mean, I transcribe. I do a lot of subbing. That's basically been the bulk of my gigging life, has been as the sub that comes in for like one or two gigs, and I transcribe every single time. I always want to play it like the original. Like, almost over transcribe it at times. Depends. If like you call me on a Thursday and I've got a gig the next night and it's 50 pop songs, it's just all road maps. But if I'm really looking to do the right job, I'm going to transcribe a lot more detail than that.
Man, it's like so different. Like, so you and Phil I think are similar on that end. Phil. So a lot of the gigs that I play are just like casuals. That's like the majority of my gigs, like a corporate party or wedding hit or something like that. Unless it's like stuff that I really know. Like if it's a ska or reggae gig, then I know the style, I know the thing, but I kind of just do me. Unless it really calls for that. But I rarely chart out a song. Rarely. Like 1% out of 100.
Now, is that because you see, that's interesting. Like, I don't trust myself to remember the arrangement.
Man, I'm a super big like cue guy. I rely on like cues a lot.
Okay.
And so it's like most of the gigs we play out here in San Diego are just super loose, man. There's like a formula that everybody has and knows. And we rely on it. It's like nobody else is like, maybe like a couple guys are reading charts, but singers are like, we always run into this problem with singers, man, where they're just doing what they want. Or they're calling a solo instead of like, you know, so it's like, dude, just give us some cues and then I'll set up an ending, you know, and then everybody kind of follows, and that's what it is. And it's so it depends. Of course, it depends on the gig. Like, there's a couple gigs that I couldn't do, I don't think, like, you know, like the Lion King gig that you're talking about, or that I know a lot of other drummers do take out in this area for those reasons, because they're just reading down charts.
Yeah.
But I feel like, man, it's so different. It's such a different world. Like, I think out here, it's not really necessary. It's kind of like if you're reading a chart, I think the singers and some of the band is going to be like, yeah, we're not going to really follow it exactly, man. Just watch me.
Yeah.
I'll see you at the end.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, there's a fair amount of that too. But even in those cases, I still like to jot down just a couple notes, like stop after the first chorus. Like, I just don't want to blow through breaks and things.
Yeah.
More than anything. Yeah, I'm kind of like sit somewhere between you guys. I think like I usually will do road maps with like some specifics, for like real specific hits, or if it's got a really unique groove or something.
Yeah.
Or the iPad is like huge for that. Like you can have the tempo, like a metronome on the chart even.
Yeah.
Which is great because a lot of times in the moment I'll be like, how's that go? What's the tempo?
What app do you use?
Fourscore?
Fourscore. That's the one everyone says. And
It's
every time
great.
I ask someone that,
you can upload a PDF. You can draw it out by hand in the app. You can put.
Nice.
Yeah, it's got I love that thing.
I use I Write Music. It's an app on an iPad, and I use that a lot for teaching too. But it's slow. It takes forever to write a chart.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I still just handwrite them on paper, dude.
I haven't done that. I haven't done that in years, man. Even for teaching,
even if I have it on an iPad, I still bring sheets because I'm afraid like the power's going to go out. I'm just paranoid.
If I do write a chart, like, so I used to do it a lot more, especially when I was teaching a lot. I would just be like, I hate this song. I don't want to listen to this song. Like, so I'm just going to write a chart. So I would write down, like, if it was like a 2-bar groove or something, I would write down that groove so I get the gist of what it is. And I wouldn't write down any fills or anything unless it was like crucial to the song. And then I would just write like a roadmap of just like, hey, here's a 2-bar rest, or like, I don't know, out on one, like kind of thing. And that's kind of it. Like, cause it's, like I said, it's really loose.
Well, I mean, for me, I know that it's a crutch, and I learned this recently, that my reading skills have been a crutch. Like, I never learn anything. I just read it. And there's been a lot of gigs where I'm like, why am I reading freaking If You Could Only See for the 8 millionth time? You know the freaking song, just play it.
Yeah. So that's I think what this dude is getting at is, so I play with a bass player like that, where like I have a residency gig, and this guy will do the same, like he'll do on any given night, he'll do completely different songs. There's never a set list. It's always just like whatever he pulls out, we're going to just play it. Normally he'll just start the song, and then we have to follow. Most of the time he'll beatbox what he's feeling, and then I have to improvise what he wants. So there's no way to write charts on that. And there's like probably a handful of tunes that we do that the ending is always the same, or something like that. But I work with a bass player that is like what you're saying, where every song, he probably has a couple thousand songs in his iPad.
Yeah.
And it can be the simplest song. It's like, dude, we're playing Brown Eyed Girl, bro. And he's like, hold on, let me pull up a chart. Right? Let me pull up a chart. It's like, dude, like, really? You need a chart for that? And it's really like, it's like that. It's a crutch. Like, if there's songs, there's any new songs, he's like, yeah, I was up this morning at like 4 or 5 in the morning and writing these charts before I got to this gig.
Yeah. I'm getting to the point where I think I still want to go through that process, like listening and analyzing, but don't write it down unless I have to. And I'm kind of transitioning into that mode. And for the goal of it makes the performance just so much more fun and enjoyable for everyone. There's no stress. I'm not staring at a freaking piece of paper while I should be interacting with the band.
I think that's where I am. I'm really big on feel. What does this song feel like? What is like, and then what's the main groove, and then I go from there, and then I kind of just, like even fills have like feel, and so I'm kind of like, oh yeah, like they'll call something, and then I'll be like, okay, yeah, and I'll have to take a minute and be like, okay, yeah, I got it, count us in, and then play that feel. That's typically how I do it. I'm never looking at a chart.
I have to ask you a question.
All right.
Because when someone says feel, that's always something that's like, I don't know what they mean. What do you mean, like, by feel? Like, what do you think of? If someone says Brown Eyed Girl, what do you mean by feel? What is the feel?
I am thinking about, I think about that tune. I start singing that tune in my head, and then I think about how it makes me move and how it makes the people in the audience move. How does that feel on my drums? For me, drumming has always been a feeling. It's
more of a dancing feeling.
I think so. Yeah. Since I was a little kid, I didn't start off with a practice pad and learning how to read. I didn't start doing that until I was a teenager. So for me, it's all about, for me, before I was born, my parents said they would walk by a speaker and my mom's stomach would start moving. And so for me, that music or the drums have a feeling to them that, people, you don't have to be a drummer to react to that feeling, if that makes sense.
So do you like dance? Or is it not
I
something
don't.
you do?
I can't really dance because I'm used to making the beat for people to dance to. So
that's always been my excuse too.
Yeah. So I used to be in quickly, like when I was younger, before I was like really getting serious about playing drums, I didn't have a drum set, but that feeling still had to come out. That the feeling that I get when I play drums still had to come out of me, or else there was something missing in my life. So I got into like dancing, dude, and I don't know why. It was like when I was like 11 or something, I was just like into music. Like, I don't know what it was, like hip hop dancing or something.
Yeah.
And
it's funny. We separated the singing, dancing, drumming element from music in this Western society so much.
Yeah.
It all really is one thing, but we like focus on one over the other. Like, I don't sing. Why don't I sing? Because I just never did. Well, that doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Like, sing it, dance it, drum it.
Right. It's so weird. I feel so awkward dancing, but I don't feel awkward at all playing music. That is kind of like dancing, dude. Move your foot, move your hand, like in rhythm.
Yeah, I often think about that too. If you would remove the drum set, what we're doing is a really intricate dance.
Yeah.
The choreography is very intricate.
Yeah.
It'd look pretty hilarious though.
But it is. It is.
Dance floor,
I mean, it's probably as precise as like really top level pro dancers. They have to hit their marks like really precisely, and that's what we're doing.
I'm gonna tell people that next time they're making fun of my dance moves.
Man, it's crazy. So, okay, to wrap it up for me, most of the time when I'm subbing on a gig, they'll send me their gig list. I'll make a playlist. I hate to say this out loud, but most of the time on the way to the gig in my car, I'm listening to the songs. And that's my prep. I would not, unless it's like a serious, like if I'm prepping for a tour or something, then I'm learning this stuff and I'm taking some time and doing it. But if it's just like a casual, if it's like a corporate gig or something, it's like, it's weird that I've gotten pretty confident with just, man, I got this, and not like worried. I don't have to, like you guys, like writing a chart, you don't have to know the guys you're playing with. You don't have, never met them.
Yeah.
Whatever. You just show up and like, I'm just like, man, I'll just follow cues and like, I know the tunes and, you call Billie Jean, we know the feel of that song. We've heard that song before. Like, I got this. I don't need a chart how to play the basic rock beat, through Billie Jean, and so that's kind of how I roll. I just listen to it on the way most of the time. If there's a new song that we're playing, listen to it on the way. And show up and go for it.
I feel like it depends on the gig, for at least on my end. Like if I've got like a couple days to get 50 songs down, I'll probably make roadmaps for all the ones that I'm not really familiar with, at least. And then some bands want it real specific. They want like exact endings.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I'm at.
Some bands here will give you a chart, like a book, and just be like, we have specific endings. We have like stuff like that, you need to know. I've gotten that a couple times, but,
and some people aren't very good at cueing.
Some people just aren't good at cueing. Dude, I know quite a few singers, dude.
I don't like wholeheartedly relying on that.
I kind of learned some of the bands that I sub with here, the drummer is actually the leader. And then I'm like, well, we haven't ended this song. We've been playing for like 20 minutes. Everyone's like looking at me like, oh my God. Like doing some sort of like alternate reality. Like, whoa, I'm supposed to end it? Oh, okay. They're like,
I hate that.
God.
I hate that, dude. I'm like, wait, I'll just dude, I will vamp at the end for an hour until the singer gives me a cue to end.
Like, it's not my band. I'm a sub.
Dude, I love that. That's awesome. All right, Wyatt, I hope that answers your question. We all do it differently, man. It sounds like you are more on the same side as Mike and Phil, where I am like in my own world, and that's maybe why I don't have a major, huge gig.
No.
There goes my career.
All right, man. So let's transition again into the Wheel of Death.
All right.
Random
what am I in for here?
Drum Brigade Podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
We got a new sound effect for this one, right?
No, I didn't download it.
You didn't?
Sorry, Phil. Sorry, man. I'm just,
So
I got
disappointed.
things to do. All right, Mike. These are questions we'll all answer. They're
Okay.
random.
Oh, boy.
We don't know what's coming up, but it can be anything. Some are drum related, some aren't. So we'll get it going. Are you ready for this?
Who goes first?
You can go. Well, we'll just answer them each question together, but like you can
All at the same time.
In unison.
in unison. 1, 2, 3, and then answer. No, so you'll go first, and then we'll just talk about it for a few minutes.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Oh boy. Okay, that took a long time. Mike Dawson, snap your fingers. You are no longer a drummer. What is your career?
I would have been an attorney or a doctor, guaranteed.
Dang,
Wow,
dude.
that was quick.
What do you mean, really?
Well, I can tell you why. When I was a little kid, all I wanted to do was be a doctor. I would open up the encyclopedia it was the H volume, had the plastic pages where you could you could pull back the skin and then pull back the muscle, pull back the organ. I would trace those freaking pictures every day.
Wow.
I just wanted to be in medicine somehow. And then when I was like 8, I went to a psychic, and she said, "You're going to be an attorney." So there you go.
She was completely right.
Nailed it.
Couldn't believe further from an attorney. That's cool though, man. That's like we've had so many cool answers on that. Like
I love that one. That's a
Yeah.
good question.
That was crazy. Okay, so here's mine, and this is not an exaggeration. If I was not a drummer, I would have probably wanted to be. There's a couple things, but I would have probably have been a pro BMX racer or a pro
Nice.
motocross racer.
Dang, dude. Aren't you a little big for that?
I know, but dude, I was super good at BMX and super good at motocross, dude. I've
you
shattered my
smashed.
ankle, my
Oh,
kick
yeah?
drum foot in a motocross crash.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that why you quit?
Quit motocross? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was why I quit skating when I started falling and actually hurting myself.
Yeah.
Like, nah, I want to play drums. I can't be breaking my freaking wrist.
That's what happened. I was like, I loved it. I loved it probably as much as I love drums. Maybe a little bit more. And I just decided, man, they almost had to amputate my foot. It was that bad.
Whoa.
And I
Hey-o.
was like, that scared me enough to be like, I don't want to crash again and get hurt. And I sold my bike. I thought for sure I wouldn't do it like I was, but maybe just have a bike. And now I'm like, nah. I don't
Was that
even,
a BMX or a motorbike?
it was a motorcycle, a dirt bike.
Yeah.
But before that, when I was a kid, I was really into BMX, like racing. And my dad wouldn't let me do it. I don't know why, but he wouldn't let me really pursue it. But for sure, I know without a doubt I could have been a pro. Like if I pursued it and like did it right. I wasn't good enough when I was a kid to be a pro, but I could have gotten there if they would have let me.
If you would have kept your feet.
Yeah, if I would have kept my feet, exactly. So, and then if I wasn't going to do that, like, so if I went like through my youth and my dad not letting me do that, I was going to be a farmer, man. I wanted to be a farmer.
Whoa.
Oh, pot farmer?
No, like just like I wanted to be like a citrus, like avocado, like farmer guy.
Hey.
Plants though. No animals would be.
I don't really think so. No, I don't think I wasn't going for like a dairy farmer.
Okay.
I was going for like a farm manager because I worked in the groves and stuff when I was a kid with my buddy's dad when I was like on summer vacation. And we just did like manual labor stuff, picking fruit, doing stuff in the groves, driving tractors and stuff. And I loved it when I was a kid. Loved it. So I was like, I think I'm going to do that. Nice. But I didn't. Thank goodness I didn't become a farmer.
Yeah, for real.
Still time.
Funky Phil, what would you be?
Okay, I would be either a chef because I love cooking.
Dope.
And I like eating a lot too. Or a sculptor.
Oh, yeah. Your dad's a sculptor.
Sculptor?
Yeah, my dad's an elite sculptor.
Dude, his dad is like the Dennis Chambers of sculptors.
That's crazy to me. I mean, that's an art form that I do not understand how you can do that.
Yeah.
I worked as a sculptor for a couple of years.
Wow.
And then I was like, F this. I want to play drums again.
Dude.
Now, what was your medium?
These days, it's a lot of it's digitized, but you'll mostly do stuff with clay. You know, my dad does a lot of work for hire and stuff, so it'll be like people hiring him to make something specific.
Okay.
And then but yeah, you'll a lot of times these days you'll do something in clay or just straight on the computer, and then you can get it printed out or milled in foam, and then
could you just use like a 3D printer and be like, yeah, I'm a sculptor, man? Like,
well, you have to have something to print.
You got to draw it, right?
So you make it like as a 3D form.
Yeah, you can.
Computer.
If you make it in clay, you can use the 3D scanner, and then it digitizes it, and you have to fix it usually, but then you have like a digital model, and you can scale it to whatever you want.
Oh, wow!
Print it out or have it milled if it's really big, and then from there, you usually make a mold depending on what you want to cast it in, or like if you want to cast bronze, you have to do certain steps, or if you want it milled out of aluminum, that's a different thing. It's crazy.
That's crazy.
That's fascinating. So, does he ever do like manual sculpting with wood or marble or anything like that?
For fun sometimes, but that's not really like he's mostly making money.
Yeah.
But he has. I've seen.
He doesn't do a lot of like, I'm going to be creative and make my own piece of art to sell.
I've seen stuff like that though that he does.
It's like most of the money out there is making stuff for other people or companies or.
That's wild.
Can he sculpt us a successful podcast?
How would you render that in 3D?
I don't know. He's the one that knows how to do it. I don't know.
I'll see what he could do.
All right, here's our next question. Let's see here. Oh boy,
This is so long.
oh boy. Here's a good one. Mike Dawson: drum shoes or drum gloves?
Do I have to choose?
Yes, you have to choose one.
There have been situations when, like, if I'm really super sweaty, a glove would actually help. So I would, if I had to choose something, I would pick a glove.
I would love to see you
What color glove? Black, white.
Ideally black. I mean, I feel like white gloves is just going a little bit weird.
Dude, I would love to just see you, dude, just like recording your Instagram videos wearing just full on Carter Buford like.
I've got some of those gloves. I mean, I've got review samples of just about everything. I actually have a bunch of drum shoes.
Oh my gosh. Me and Phil have this obsession with drum shoes, dude. Like,
I'll send you some. What size do you wear?
Dude, I'm a 13. Funky Phil is a what? 10?
9. I got little feet.
Dude, we have this obsession with drum shoes, dude. Like I think I can wear a 12 too. I just always say 13.
I'm going to send you. I have some gorgeous Flash Gordon looking drum shoes.
Oh my god.
Oh, I love it. Like, yeah, the more yes, like those little like we always talk about like Dave Weckl and his little drum shoes, dude. It's like
the ballet slippers.
It's like fast looking like little drum shoes.
Goodness gracious.
I'm drum shoes all day, dude. I will not be caught dead wearing drum gloves. Those are the stupidest things. Don't know why people would wear drum gloves, dude. I had this student that was just like, she had it in her head that she needed drum gloves.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I can see that. Playing baseball, I always had to wear batting gloves, even if I didn't need them. I just had to wear them.
Yeah, but you look cool wearing them when you're a baseball player. Dude, I've played drums in Doc Martens. I've played drums in you don't need drum shoes, dude. Like, they're so fast looking, dude. Like,
so good.
But what do you do? The thing is, what do you do with the shoes? Do they have to be sitting by your risers so they don't get dirt on them? I mean, what is the...
Yeah.
The ritual.
Okay, I have a buddy that straight uses drum shoes, pure drum shoes, like hard, and he's like, bro, I could get you hooked up with this company, and I'm like, I'm good, bro. Trust me, I'm good.
Does he walk to the gig?
No, he walks with his normal shoes on, and then he sits behind his drums. They're set on his floor tom. And
Does
then
he have a special case just for them?
Oh, that'd be awesome if he
a hard case.
A velvet case, dude. Yes, a velvet case. It's the only way to do it. You break it out, light. I want my case rigged with light, like light beams from heaven, but like coming out of the box where you're just like, low, when you open them. You put those mugs on, and you are as fast as anything. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I love drum shoes, dude. Funky Phil, which one are you choosing?
I think drum shoes. Yeah. I mean, I could see gloves, especially if it's really cold. I've played some gigs where I'm like, damn, I wish I had some gloves.
I didn't think about that. I just played a gig on Saturday it was cold and rainy, and my hands were freezing, dude.
Not like, I mean, you guys were really cold over there, right, Mike?
Oh, I mean, yeah, it was like negative 15.
Oh my God. Yeah. Okay, well, look, walking to the gig, I don't have a problem with gloves, dude. Like, gloves are fine. I just don't understand, why Carter Buford has to wear gloves when he's playing. Why?
I don't. I mean,
it looks so
do you
dumb.
have dry hands or sweaty hands? I have really sweaty hands, so if I'm playing in a really hot venue, sometimes the sticks are just flying out of my hands. Maybe a drum glove might help. Maybe. I've never gone that far, though.
I just don't get it. I mean, I've never tried drum gloves either, so maybe it's just me. I don't know.
Yeah,
I just find it so funny. All right, here's
you're getting some Flash Gordon shoes.
I cannot wait. I cannot wait.
This is going to be so good.
I'm going to wear those all the time. Okay, next question. What's your favorite record of all time? Ooh, I might have to choose a couple. That's hard, man.
That's impossible. Who thought of that question?
I don't know.
John Coltrane, I Love Supreme. I think I could put on any day, any time.
That's cool. Reason. That's a solid favorite record. Mine is kind of unorthodox, I think. My favorite record is I think English Beat. It's this album called Whoppin', like What Happened, but with a Jamaican accent. Either that one or there's another one. I forget what it's called. Them walking off an airplane. But probably the Whoppin' album by the English Beat. That's my favorite band. I know I like ska. I'm dorky, but whatever.
I'm going to say that is, thankfully, you're in Southern California, because there's a thing here between me and a few people where if it's below 70 degrees out, do not put any reggae on. It just is more depressing than it needs to be.
Yeah. I think that album is more just a nostalgic, like I grew up with it. That's my favorite band. Kind of weird. The English Beat hit me up to play with them, and I was kind of like, the only gig that I was like, I mean, I would do it. It would be cool to say, like, I played with my favorite band, like, but I also want to keep them as my favorite band, and like, I don't want to ruin that. So I was kind of glad that it fizzled out and the opportunity didn't come up, and so I'm good with it. Funky Phil.
Oh man, I think Shuggie Otis, Inspiration Information. I love that.
I don't know that record.
I don't know that at all.
It's some interesting.
How do you spell it?
Like SHUGGIE, I think, right?
Oh, there it is. Shuggie Otis.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, that's one of my. I really love that record. He's got some really interesting stuff.
Man.
That, or what's that Meters one? Shoot. I'm gonna look it up.
Pick one.
Rejuvenation.
Look up Hi-Fi.
Rejuvenation.
Oh, yeah. That I love that.
That's a solid record.
Any day.
Yeah. I think I'm happy going with that record. If I can listen to only one record from here on out, I think that would be probably it. Maybe. Like I think I'm cool with that. I mean, there's others. I don't know. But some records I get sick of, and that's one that I like put it on. I'm like, oh man, I just love this song.
How rare is that?
I know. Yeah.
We should all be so lucky to put out a record that no one gets tired of.
Yeah, dude. That's pretty much impossible for me. Like, I get sick of everything, but that one is one that I've listened to since I was probably 5 years old, and yeah. So, okay, let's do one more and wrap this thing up. Oh boy. Let's see here. We asked, I'm going to skip this one. You asked this one at NAMM show.
Oh.
So we already have an interview with you that you answer that question.
The dinosaur question.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Oh, no, this was, what do you think just came up? The dinosaur question. Stupid. This show is not janky, I promise. All right, here we go. The Mount Rushmore question.
Dang it.
What's your Mount Rushmore of drummers?
All right. We kind of alluded. I see. How many faces are on Mount Rushmore?
4?
Is it 4?
Yeah.
Now you got to give me some more parameters. Is this personally, or I think in the history of drumming?
No, like your personal Mount Rushmore, who you would put 4 faces of your favorite all-time, the best drummers that should be on Mount Rushmore.
Okay. All right. It's going to be Vinny.
Of course.
It's going to be Matt Chamberlain.
Oh, okay.
It's going to be Steve Jordan.
Ooh.
And then I have to put Elvin Jones.
Wow.
Just for the jazz history side.
That's a strong Mount Rushmore. Out of the ordinary.
Yeah. I mean, those are personal. Like, I can
Yeah.
listen to all 4 of those guys all day, every day, and still learn stuff from them.
So I have a lot of favorite drummers, but I think my Mount Rushmore is Dennis, Vinny, Tony Williams, and Chris Dave. But
Nice.
closely behind them, of course, like Buddy Rich would probably be up there. I would think I really like Bill Stewart. Man, I love the way he plays, man.
Yeah.
I think he would probably be up there for me.
He is most drummers have, like, Weckl was their transition into fusion and that kind of styles. Bill was my transition into straight ahead jazz.
Oh, yeah. Man,
He
he's
was
a
the guy
great
that
drummer.
pulled me over there.
I just love his creativity.
Yeah.
And then if I'm putting like more modern drummers, I think I would have to put like Girgo Borlai or Virgil Donati. I really like just their skill level I think they're just killing the game right now at their skills.
What was your choices again?
So my main choices are Dennis, Vinny,
Yeah.
Tony Williams, and Chris Dave. Chris Dave is my ultimate favorite drummer. I know that's dorky. Everybody says that, but
Hey, you know what? I don't have much of a taste for him, quite honestly.
yeah, that's the thing. A lot of people do or don't, you know.
Yeah.
And so,
I
but
dig it, but it's not my thing.
since I was like probably 12 years old, I've just been like, oh my God, this guy. And for me, I'm big on the like style aspect and having like a product as a drummer. Like instead of just being like a dude that plays really good, I feel like he plays really good, but he's created something that everybody has copied. Like
That's true.
Everybody copies Chris Dave. I feel like he started a lot of the gospel chop stuff before anybody was doing it, you know, and he doesn't play like that anymore. But when he was like in the 90s, when he was playing in Mint Condition, it was like, I've never heard a drummer play like that.
I caught him with Kenny Garrett back early on, like in the late 90s probably. Mm-hmm. And I was expecting Tane.
Okay.
So it was a kind of like when I first go in and say, all right, Tane's obviously not here. This drum kit is weird. He was playing like a bar stool for a drum throne or something.
Yeah,
Strange.
sounds right.
And it was so frustrating because he was obviously crushing it, but it was so not the language of Tane.
Oh, yeah.
It was freaking me out. I'm like, this is such like a tight, precise way to play this music.
Right.
And Tane is just like a freight train.
Yeah.
So it was really shocking. Like, all right, I definitely saw like that's a future direction I'm not ready for.
Yeah.
But I wanted to hear some Tane.
I've been there in so many. Okay. So I had the same scenario when I saw Steely Dan years ago, and I wanted to see. I think Ricky Lawson. I wanted to see Ricky Lawson play, but Keith Carlock was playing, and I love Keith Carlock, but I was expecting.
Yeah.
I think I was expecting Dennis Chambers because I would have I don't remember, but I was expecting
Dennis
somebody
Detour.
else. And like Keith Carlock, I love Keith. I think he's amazing, but I wasn't expecting that. And so I was like, gosh. Yeah. So the whole night I was just like, this guy's killing it, but it's not what I expected, you know? Like,
Yeah. It's weird, right?
yeah, man. Funky Phil, what do you got?
Oh man, that's hard. Tony Williams,
Nice.
he's definitely on there. Probably Zigaboo.
I knew you were going to say that.
I love Zig.
Yeah, good
He's
choice.
so good. I don't know. It's hard. I've Dennis Chambers was a huge inspiration too. But so is Steve Gadd.
Yeah. I feel like you're more of
Yeah.
a Steve Gadd
I like
guy.
Steve Gadd a lot.
Yeah.
Elvin Jones is rad. Brian Blade was pretty big to me. I feel like
Yeah, me too.
Gosh, you East Coast guys, man. All these jazz drummers.
Yeah. Brian was like Elvin with just the Southern thing going on.
Yeah.
I loved it. But for me, Elvin's still the guy. Like, we wouldn't have Brian Blade if we didn't have Elvin Jones.
That's
true.
the thing about the Mount Rushmore. It's like, I like Chris Dave, but I don't think we would have a Chris Dave if there was no Tony Williams, you know, or like,
Yeah, true.
so it's like, I know it's my favorite. It's my Mount Rushmore. So that's the beauty of it. It's like, you can choose whoever you want. You can be like, I really love Jeff Endyke, but
Hey, yo.
Yeah.
do you know who Jeff Endyke is?
Oh, heck yeah.
Oh, man,
yeah.
he's our
I mean, that's
favorite.
what I mean. When we first, around here when YouTube became a thing, it was like, let's find the goofy stuff.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what, that was it. That was the pinnacle of goofiness.
He's our favorite, man.
How do you work on that?
We have all these drops from him, dude.
I'm still working on it myself.
He has the best drums, dude. Check out his drums. They're tuned so great. Maybe Jeff Endyke is on my Mount Rushmore, dude, just for entertainment purposes.
He's influenced you in more ways than you realize it, I'm sure.
So, okay, you got one more, Phil?
Oh no, I think so. I
That's
guess
it.
if I had to narrow it down, it'd be Tony Williams, Zigaboo, Brian Blade, and I guess Steve Gadd.
Cool.
Probably
That's a solid
like
one.
that combo.
All right, cool. Let's get out of the drum questions of death. Spinning wheel of death, I mean.
Drum Brigade.
Yeah. All right, man.
This is my favorite drop you made.
Drum Brigade. Drum Brigade.
So dumb. It's so
Drum
stupid,
Brigade. Drum Brigade.
dude. Mike, thank you so much for coming on our show, man. I know it's
Sure.
like it's janky. We don't have 100+ episodes, but we're just
Still working
We're
on
working
it.
on it.
That's the beauty of this medium. Don't figure it out. That's the whole point.
yeah,
Don't figure it out, because then you just become something like everything else. The heck with
Totally.
that.
yeah, man. We're just trying to be a part of our drum world, the drum
Yeah.
community. So let's talk about me and Funky Phil's cover of Modern Drummer. When is this happening? How is this happening?
What's your budget?
I guess that's the real question. I thought we got paid for that. That's weird. And then also, when are we going to be featured on the Modern Drummer podcast and all that stuff? Yeah. So just let us know, man. You got our number. It's all good.
Hey, go ahead and call me. Leave a message. I'll never get back.
Yeah, I'm sure
email.
I'll get back to you. Just talk to the secretary that answered Modern Drummer. No, seriously, man, keep doing what you're doing. We're big fans of yours and Mike Johnson,
Thank you.
and we think it's really dope, like what you guys do for the drum community and our drum industry, and you guys are doing it right. You're doing it on another level. You're keeping like real drummers alive. Teaching people how to like be real drummers, and
Right.
that's really dope. I admire that. That's really cool. And then it's like, dude, it's a good hang, man. When we see you at NAMM and we're drinking whiskey and we're like asking companies if they have an artist program, and like it's fun, man. So yeah, man, we really appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure. Anytime.
We'd love to
Always
have you
down.
on again and chat some more. That's why our show isn't like a history of what you're doing, kind of thing. Like it's more of a
Good.
like just hang. So maybe sometime in the future we
story.
can have you on, have you on again. Maybe sometime we can have Mike Johnston on. I don't know. I'd probably have to talk to his publicist or something because he's so big time. But that'd be cool. Also, how can people get a hold of you? Obviously, your Instagram is what is your handle again?
Mike Dawson Drums. That's
Yes.
the easiest way to get a hold of me. I'm
Cool.
on there daily, so that's the best way outside of Modern Drummers contact. Would be just through there.
Okay, so yeah, go follow, hit the subscribe, hit the follow button if you want to see some dope drumming, some dope out of the box, like cool concept stuff, weird, cool echoes and sounds, and all kinds of unique drumming. Check it out. Hit the subscribe button. If you want to be featured in Modern Drummer or get a cover, just email Mike Dawson directly. And like, it's easy as that. It's as simple as that. Oh, dude, Mike, thank you so much for coming on, man. We'll keep in touch. Thank you.
Thank
Appreciate it. Have a good one, man.
You too.
All right.
Drum Brigade.
Mike Dawson, man.
That was a good hang.
Yeah. I guess we're just big time now. Just having real dudes on this show now, dude. Yeah, man. That's like, this is what I'm saying though, dude. This guy's like a kind of I mean, he's not like, you know, he'd probably feel weird about me saying like he's like a big name in our industry, but dude, he's one of the main editors for Modern Drummer, has a podcast with Mike Johnston.
I was just reading about a Gretsch kit that he wrote about.
Yeah,
today.
he does all kinds of dope product reviews, which we didn't even get into. I meant to talk to him about the Masters of Maple snare that he reviewed, but I didn't. He reviewed I wanted to get a Masters of Maple snare, like a trash talk, but then I saw his review and I was like, he's convinced me that I just need this snare. He did. He's, you know, and so like stuff like that where I'm just like, he has a strong media presence in our industry, which is really cool for us. That's what we aspire to be too, you know. But aside from that, from that, he's a ripping good drummer, and he's a super dope guy, as you can see. Like, he's just a really good hang. Dude, I joke with that dude so much. Like, when we're at NAMM, we're just like, just laughing like all the time. I met him at a Masters of Maple, like a couple years. The Masters of Maple would have a house for NAMM, and then all the drummer, like a bunch of drummers would come and hang. And so I would stay there, and him and Mike and like some other guys from Modern Drummer would come. And I just remember I like the first thing I go, "Hey, what's up, man? Nice to meet you, man. Really cool. Hey, I got to ask you, who came up with the picture of JoJo Mayer for the cover?" Why? And I'm like, why would you use that picture? And I'm like, you know what? If you want to sell magazine articles, like, you got to have me on the cover, dude. Like, this is the problem. And he was like dying laughing and like. And it's so ever since then we've just been laughing the whole time, dude.
Oh,
like,
man.
he's a good hang, man. So I'm stoked that he came on, and hopefully we'll have his partner on sometime soon.
Yeah.
Have Mike Johnston on, just talk about drums and like lesson. Maybe he could just give us an hour-long lesson on how to play.
Yeah, that'd be rad.
Fills. So I mean, that's kind of our show. I didn't get on my soapbox. We got time for a soapbox, Phil?
I think so. Yeah.
Hey, my cat is like scratching my foot. Beat it. All right, Phil, let's just do this really quick.
I ain't trying to hear that right now.
Oh, yeah. I meant to get on this soapbox with Mike Dawson. Sorry you had to wait till the end of the show to hear it. But my soapbox this week is about my gig on Saturday.
Is this one where you played your little biddies?
Yeah. So gig is fine. The gig is fine. It's these type of gigs in general. For example, there's a place that we play in San Diego that is, it rhymes with schmarks and schmecks. It's Parks and Recs. Park and Recs. I don't know what it's called. Park and Rec.
Yeah.
Great place to play.
I love that place.
Super fun gig. My problem is not with the stinking gig.
It's the sound.
The sound is whatever. I go into that gig knowing that the sound sucks. That gig doesn't pay very well, Phil.
Yeah.
It pays peanuts. Got it? Just kidding. Okay.
And that's it.
No. The gig is, it's not about the pay. It's just like it's a pickup gig. It's like a 2-hour gig. You play 2 sets. You're in and out. It's an easy gig. The problem is you get done and they're like, oh, we're on some weird program where it takes you 30 days to get paid.
Oh.
For that little small stinking amount.
Oh.
Don't give me that bull crap.
Oh.
Okay, so my gig on Saturday was like that. Well, the guy normally fronts the money, but it's the slow season, so he can't front the money. I'm like, what do you mean front the money? Well, you don't get paid for 30 days. What the 30 days? I'm not even getting paid that much. What are you talking? This is a casino, dude.
Oh, I thought you were saying Park and Rec.
Okay, I've transitioned. Keep up, Phil.
Sorry, you were on Park and Rec.
Park and Rec is one of the gigs that takes 30 days to pay you.
It does? Okay.
Yes. And then this casino that I was playing on Saturday also takes 30 days to pay you. Now, I understand there's a process. Hey, we got to run things through payroll and all that jazz. But you're a casino, dude. You're making hundreds of thousands of dollars probably a minute at that place.
Yeah.
You can't pay me a couple $100 for a gig.
It's one of those weird things where like certain elements of the corporate world, that's how they operate, and they just don't get it that music,
I know,
like the rest of the world doesn't do that.
That's
really, I'm with you, man. There's no, especially a casino,
dude.
I'm like, you have no reason why you can't pay us on time.
Yeah.
Or like in a reasonable time frame, and there's no reason for having horrible electronic drums.
That's a whole other soapbox, dude.
Well,
but because they make so much money, right?
It's cool if you got to do the robo drums, but keep them maintained and working. If we have to sit there and play those, please just make sure they work.
Yeah. Please just, you have that much money, you can't get a top of the line drum set? Hundreds of thousands of dollars, probably millions of dollars. They probably make millions of dollars every night.
I mean, a lot of times they do have the best robos, but the triggers, they get beaten on, thrashed
you can't just
night.
Maintenance them.
Yeah, you could just get a new trigger. It's not.
Dude, hire a guy, pay him $100, have him maintain these drums. Dude, I'm going this casino. The place is packed. I can't even freaking roll my drums into where I'm playing because there's thousands of people smoking cigarettes.
Was this a Sunday?
This was a Saturday.
There's
like nothing but people all over the place that are just throwing money. They're just taking money, hundreds of dollars at a time, and lighting it on fire.
I think at this same casino, someone literally made it rain $100 of singles on us while we were playing.
Yes. Okay. People are winning money and losing money by the second at this place. Not only that, people are dropping tons of money. Well, this place I was playing is like a hookah lounge, like little smoking bar lounge thing where people can watch games. It's like a sports bar.
Okay.
But you can smoke hookah, I guess, at this place, and you can drink beer and
you get to use real drums.
And I get to use my real little baby drums. Okay. There's people in there. I'm just watching people. They're just buying drinks. It's like $20-something to smoke a hookah with your friend. People are just buying these things like hotcakes. This casino is making tons of money, dude. Tons of money. You can't afford to pay me a couple $100 at the end of my gig.
Yeah.
You have to make me wait 30 days for that mug? Really?
That's weird.
Get over your stupid self. I was telling the guy, I was just like, the one of the musicians, he's like, I'm just gonna have to pay you out of my pocket. And I was like, that you shouldn't have to do that. I said, honestly, dude, let's just not take any more gigs. Like, let's just be like, nah, you got to pay us up front or we're good. I mean, I don't like losing gigs, but seriously, I understand getting like, okay, let's be reasonable. If they're like, hey man, I can't pay you, but you have to wait until Friday next week to get paid. Cool, no problem. But 30 days is ridiculous. At a normal job, the most you have to wait is 2 weeks. Unless you get paid monthly.
That's how that college that I was working, I wouldn't get paid It would be 30-day delay on just hourly wages.
So it's
crazy.
I kind of go, hey, like it's cool if you're on the payroll or something. I'm a subcontractor, dude.
Yeah, that'd be like getting a cab and then being like, cool, you'll get a check in the mail in 30 days for this ride. Thanks.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, cool. Like I'm going to take a shuttle to the airport. It's $100, but you can't get paid for 30 days. Thanks for your service though, that you provided me immediately.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, so I normally would say, hey man, as long as I know in advance, just let me know when I book the gig. Hey man, are you available this night? Cool. The gig pays this much. And by the way, you have to wait 30 days. Okay. Well, at least I know. Now I can say, nah, I don't want the gig, or I'll just book another gig, or sure, I can do that. But don't spring it on me after I play. Oh, by the way, this gig, I'll have to pay you out of my pocket. Like, dude, that's not my fault. You should have told me that. So now I feel like a jerk, you know, and like, I don't like that, dude. Just pay me up front, dude. Stop. Stop. Like, so anybody that books me at Parks and Rec, I'm like,
we're talking about the casino, right?
That was for the casino. Okay. But anytime I get called for Parks and Rec, I get called quite a bit. I'm always like normally available on Fridays. It works out perfect. It's like late at night. It's 2 sets. It's an easy gig. But I'm always like, hey man, nah, I normally turn down Park and Rec. And they're like, really? Why? You have a problem with that place? You just get into it with some. I'm like, no, man, they don't pay for 30 days. If you want me to play, I'll play, but I need to be paid within a couple days, but not 30 days. Mm-hmm. I'm not doing that. For $100, that gig only pays $100, dude. No.
Yeah, that's kind of, especially, it's hard, especially when it's like a place that's like a huge part of what they do is they have live entertainment.
Dude, I'll be honest with you. I would rather just go drive like for Uber or something and get paid at the end of the night than go and try to play my gig and then wait. I played with this one girl that like was like, oh, by the way, kind of thing. And then 30 days later, I'm like, dude, she still owes me for this stupid chintzy little dumb gig that like I'm not even, it's not even worth it. It's not even worth waiting 30 days for this amount of money, dude. And then at the end of it, she's like, oh yeah, sorry, I forgot. And like, I had to wait another week of 5 weeks to get paid $100. I'm like, don't call me anymore. Don't call me anymore. I don't need your gig that bad. I just cannot stand it. I cannot stand that. Just somehow find the money, dude. Just go take the money from one of the hundreds and thousands of slot machines you have in your stinking casino. I'm back to the casino now, Phil.
Okay, you're jumping around a lot, man.
Sorry, I've had a lot of coffee, bro. All right, anyways, that's my soapbox.
I ain't trying to hear that right now.
All right. See, it wasn't that bad.
No.
I just don't like it. Just pay me up front, dude. I don't go to my mechanic like you said. I don't go to my mechanic and be like, hey, I know that you did all this work and my car is running now and I'm going to drive it, but I can't pay you for 30 days. It doesn't happen like that. You get sued.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I mean, I'm
a subcontractor.
We have to pay for our gas to get there. We have to pay for our sticks and our heads and cymbals, make sure everything's working for their thing.
Not to mention,
advance.
I provided my service on the date that you requested. Yeah. So have my fee available on the date that you requested me.
You know what I think is a good workaround? If they're gonna make you wait 30 days, there should be interest.
I agree.
Because you already did the work. They should pay interest for.
Or what I think is even better is if you say, okay, cool, you booked me for that date, and then you don't show up and be like, I'm going to show up 30 days later when I get paid. I understand some aspects. Like when I used to do construction, like if you work with an insurance company, like if your house gets flooded and then I have to come in and do the work, sometimes the general contractor would be like, hey, I don't get paid for this for 21 days. That's how insurance claims work. It has to go through insurance. Mm-hmm. And so I would be like, as long as I know in advance, that's cool, but it shouldn't work like that. The general contractor should have it to pay you out of pocket, and he should collect on his jobs later. That has nothing to do with me. I provided my service, and I'm not going through the insurance. I'm going through you. That's my take on it for the drum or for my gigs. I'm going through you, dude. I'm not. I booked the gig through the band leader, so it's the band leader's problem, not mine. I don't want to wait 30 days to get paid for this gig that doesn't even pay that much. If it's like a New Year's gig and I'm getting paid like $1,000 or more or something, then I understand. It's hard for people to front that money. But if I'm getting paid $100, no, beat it. Come up with the money, dude, or don't have me on the gig. Dang. Book Funky Phil.
Nah.
All right, that's really.
I ain't trying to hear that right now.
Do I need to get on it again?
No, let's stop.
Okay.
Let's end on a positive note here.
Positive note, man. We had Mike Dawson on.
Yeah, that was great.
My cat is going crazy. I don't know why. She's trying to get in the room. That's why. We didn't talk about this Battlefield snare. We'll talk about it later tomorrow.
Oh yeah,
I mean tomorrow. The next show. I don't want to talk about it right now, but it's cool. It's a good looking snare. I've had it for a while and stuff. Funky Phil, let's wrap this show up. We got things to do. I got to get on a bike ride. I got to eat some lunch.
Yeah.
I got to make some posts and stuff. And yeah, it's been a great show, hasn't it?
Yeah, man. That was a lot of fun.
Mike Dawson's awesome, dude.
He is awesome. I could not do that Broadway thing, man.
Man, I wish I could play a gig like that. Like, all we got to do is just practice. Practice reading skills. Right?
Yeah, just thinking about it, I'm like, oh my god,
it stresses me out. But I would love to pull that off. I would feel like I was a real drummer if I pulled
3 hours
of straight reading, dude.
Focused like that.
That'd be cool.
That sounds exhausting.
What a great show, man. What a great guest. Ladies and gentlemen, episode 26, the Drum Brigade podcast. Corey Kingston, Funky Phil, Mike Dawson as our guest. Thank you guys for listening. Leave a review, win some stuff.
The taste is recycled.